a very, very good FA Cup final. And Hatchin! What a magnificent goal!
Good evening and welcome to All Things Sky Blue. This is a new segment that we're doing this season, and it's called Fans Around the World. We're going to be joined shortly by a gentleman from France, Ian. You've probably seen him before on other podcasts as well. Really good guy, and obviously I'll be joined by Mark Smith shortly as well, who always chairs the show with me as well. Before I bring them in, just a reminder of where you can find us. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X or Twitter, whichever one you want to call it. We're on YouTube as well. Please go and like and subscribe to everything that we do. It is much appreciated. We're also on podcasts, so on Spotify, Amazon Prime, Amazon and anywhere else that you get your podcasts from. As you can see, I'm still a little bit rusty because we haven't done this in a while, so I'm just trying to get back in the flow of it. So please go and rate us 5 stars as well on there. We're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications, who can do your steel fabrication work up and down the country, but mainly in the Coventry and Warwickshire area. And we're also partnered with the Antidote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena. So without further ado, let me bring my co-host in, Mark. Good evening, Mark. You okay?
Good evening, Stuart. And I'll say it's been a good start of the summer, but I think the weather will tell you otherwise. And I noticed you've also got an Amazon parcel behind you, so that might be why you're thinking of Amazon.
Yeah, maybe. And we'll bring in Ian, our first guest on Fans Around the World. Hello, Ian. How are you? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you fine, Stuart. And Mark. Eventually. Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Ian, you all right?
Yeah, good.
Good to have you on.
Good. Thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, this is a new segment that we're doing this season, and hopefully we'll have other guests from around the world, if you like. Obviously, as you can see, Ian's in France. You were born in England, though, weren't you, Ian? You've moved over to France.
I was born about half a mile from the CBS.
Very nice. How long have you been in France for now?
12 years, but I've been working abroad a lot, so I'm not always here. But I'm retired now, so this is home until we get itchy feet again.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So like I mentioned, we're doing Fans Around the World. So Ian, what's it like being a Coventry City fan in France? Is there much talk around where you are? Do you get over much? Explain what it's like.
Well, we live in the middle of nowhere, so the only people we talk to are the farmers and the people who run the shops. And, Coventry City isn't on the top of their list. We really are very remote. In terms of supporting the city, it's expensive because I've got 3 season tickets, always have had. For most of my life. My son Reese lives in Hertfordshire. My granddaughter Isla, she's 10 now. She comes to the games. And as soon as Arthur, my grandson, is old enough, he'll be coming. So it's expensive. It's an hour's drive to Limoges Airport. Jump on the plane, courtesy of Ryanair. Hotel and hire cars the other end. So it's probably the biggest outgoing of my retirement.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, because even if we weren't doing as well as we were, there's a certain tradition of dads taking sons and grandchildren to the match. It's what we've done. And my dad passed away about 18 months ago. He was 96. And he used to take me and Reese, and it just continues. It's what you do. And so there's just the 3 of us now. He's got a little plot in the Garden of Remembrance, so we pop in and seeing before every game. It's in the blood. It's just I wouldn't have it any other way. And my granddaughter loves it. She's been to Wembley twice at the age of 10.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
30 to get to the so she's spoiled. So I'll get over. I would think what happened last year was concerning because we had very few Saturday matches, and that really knackered our plans. And they were being changed at quite short notice, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe. But this year, hopefully, we'll have more Saturday games. The way the flights operate from here, I can get there for a Friday night game it's very tight. Saturday, Sunday will be okay. But midweek games, I have to book the whole week out, basically, and fly back on a Friday. So I sometimes do 2 games. I did the semi-final in Hull, but then there was an air traffic control strike and I was stuck in a hotel for 3 days. So it's not easy. It is not easy following Coventry.
Yeah, it's I think it's kind of because I believe that because you mentioned about not being many Saturday games and being changed at short notice. Unfortunately, again, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, and don't quote me on it. But I think again, there's not going to be many Saturday games at 3:00. But what I think that they're doing to kind of prevent or give people a chance to organise themselves a little bit better is when the fixtures come out, the fixtures are going to be announced up until January. So that will help you out a little bit to understand, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it will. And I was pleased to read that because as soon as I heard there were going to be 11 or 12 VFL games on every weekend, I just thought this is going to be a nightmare. Yeah. Fridays changed to Sundays at 5:00, changed back to Saturdays, and then we've got a Monday. And, my lad, when we used to live in Suffolk, we used to do the midweek games, and he just used to fall asleep in the back of the car, and he'd get back to home about midnight, and it wasn't a deal. But kids in school are a bit different these days, and I can't have my granddaughter falling asleep in class, so we don't do midweek games unless it's half term. So we're hoping that there's a lot more games Friday or Saturday or even Sunday now, because we'll travel up. There's nothing like going to the game. No, it's definitely all right watching it on television, but there's nothing like the experience of going to a match like it.
Yeah, Mark, obviously going into this season and obviously knowing, the different TV deals that are going on and stuff, it's amazing that recently, obviously, I think it was yesterday that it was announced that we've broken through the 20,000 season ticket barrier. Does that surprise you slightly with everything up in the air about the TV and stuff?
Very much, because my experience last season, even though I live over here, was mirrored with people coming from, Ellis comes from the Isle of Man, there's a few come down from Cornwall, Devon, South Coast, Skegness, Blackpool, that you can't do that easily. Yeah. And the British roads are a joke. I mean, they really. First thing I noticed when I come back to England is driving's a nightmare compared to over here. It's not just me that can't do midweek games. There's a lot of families who travel a long way, and if Saturday's not on, I got to be honest, I thought season tickets would be down at least 2,000 or 3,000 this year. But fair play to the fans, they've stepped up to the plate again, and 20,000. If I'd have said that to you 4 years ago, when we were getting average gate to 12,000, you'd have thought I was, in cloud cuckoo land.
Oh, I know, definitely. Mark, any questions you got for Ian at the minute?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I agree what you say. I didn't think we'd get as many as 20,000 season tickets. I was thinking around, say, maybe if we got 15,000, I've been happy. But you think of the revenue the club's made is fantastic.
I'll be back in 1 minute. Carry on, guys.
Yeah. From the games you saw,
I don't think it's just the revenue, Mark. Go on.
So, go on. What did you say, Ian? Say again.
I'm saying you're right about the revenue, but it's not just the revenue. Having the Ricoh full or
it's-
22, 24, 25,000, including away fans, which looks like it's going to be nearer 26, 27 every week now. Makes a hell of a difference to the atmosphere. And I think the fans, even when we went through that bad spell at the end of the season, didn't really turn on the team. They stayed fairly positive, and it makes a hell of a difference.
It does, and I think it probably helps that we weren't in relegation dogfight. We were comfortably, obviously, for a great part of the season, we were in the playoffs, and obviously we fell away, and we had a really good cup run. And I think the fans understood that the players were tired. They played a lot of games. We don't have a big squad, so okay, players did make there were like individual mistakes in the games that I saw, but I think the fans generally, as you say, I thought were pretty good. And overall, I just hope that next season, hopefully now in the summer period, that we could get some new players in. I'm sure more players will go. And obviously, with players being released on the free, and I expect probably O'Hare to be going in the next few weeks once hit July. And then obviously it'll be interesting to see who comes in. And obviously we've got speculation on Wilson, on Godden and Allen maybe. So I think we're a long way off seeing what side Mark Robins will be looking to field come 10th of August, should I say? Yeah. So that'll be really, really interesting. Question for you, Ian, about the games that you saw like last season. What was your favourite game that you saw at either home or away?
Well, at Wembley in the semi-final. I've never had an emotion like that. I was with my granddaughter and my lad. Well, know them both.
Of course.
And to have a deflected goal go in for 3-0, we just looked at each other and thought, well, it's a day out. We've done well. Just hold. And then they started making changes, and I thought, oh, well, that's good. And then when Ellis popped one in, I turned around to Reece and said, this could be the greatest comeback in FA Cup history. And he just looked at me as if, there's me dad, ever the optimist. And when Victor Torp popped that goal in, I was in tears. I was absolutely in tears. I couldn't believe it. I was hugging my granddaughter, and I got a tap on the shoulder, and Reece said, look at the screen, they're doing a VAR on it. And I couldn't believe it. And when I saw it afterwards with the line going halfway across the defender's foot, why am I not surprised? Yeah. Politics is corrupt. Governments are corrupt. Big companies are corrupt. Why should football be any different? And I'm absolutely convinced that was a rigged decision. Absolutely convinced. Because two of the three VAR teams were from Greater Manchester or had Manchester connections.
Yeah, I think your own mind. I listened to CWR, I think the week after, they had Keith Hackett on, and he was talking about the fact that the technology they're using to make decisions isn't 100% accurate. It's not a 100% accurate decision. For me, the whole purpose of VAR was for the clear and obvious error, the howler. That's what the whole point of VAR is for. Yeah. You telling me, and those who watched who've seen it, you telling me that was a clear and obvious error by the assistant referee. That wasn't clear and obvious.
There's been too many, Mark. You're right. You're absolutely right. There have been too many forensic analysis, which is not what it's about. You're absolutely right. I think there should be a simple rule on VAR for offsides. If there is daylight, and what I mean by daylight, grass, between the two lines, then you can say it's offside. If it's too close to call, it's too close to call. And you just say no daylight, too close to call. But those two lines were touching. And the one on the United defender was marked halfway across his boot. So, to get that forensic on a semi-final, which could have been the biggest comeback, I believe, in FA Cup history, and probably I wouldn't say the greatest day in our history because we've won it, but in recent history, that would have been up there with the great games that have been talking about it for decades. And we've all been robbed. Not because of VAR, but because of the people who run it. So that was my favourite game last season, Mark, although it was favourite for the wrong reason, I suppose. It was just the raw emotion of it. Outstanding.
Apart from Wembley, then, what was your favourite game?
Probably Leeds.
Oh, okay.
I didn't make Leicester because I think that was that Sunday.
Saturday lunchtime.
Saturday lunchtime, yeah.
Why couldn't I make that? Because we've got animals here. So if my wife's in England, I have to look after the animals. So do I want to talk?
Okay.
But yeah, I thought the Leeds game was just outstanding.
Yeah.
And I think there have been a number. I think looking back a few years when my dad used to go with us, something stands out with the 10-man Bristol City 2-0 down, 3-2 win. Godden getting the winner off that Kelly little dink was something special.
Yeah, definitely. Do you? What's this? As in terms, I know you're remote. Do you get to when you don't get to the games? Do you get to watch them on telly on what was iFollow, which obviously they're not doing next season?
Yeah, I get to watch it on iFollow or Sky, and I've also got I shouldn't really say it, should I? I have a connection.
Okay, that's fine. We know what you mean by a connection.
Is that? It means LinkedIn connections, as we're thinking. That LinkedIn website. Is that one of those?
That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
It would be wrong of me to speculate how it works. But I think I can get Armenian baseball or something on it as well.
Okay, that's good. It's good.
It's one of those.
It's fine. It's fine to watch it abroad, though. That connection, I just want to make it clear to those who are listening.
Yes,
if you live abroad, like Ian,
but I watch. I've got my LinkedIn account, which is kosher. And my wife knows from the fixture list to either disappear or go to a friend's or do her own thing, and I'm down there with a few beers.
Excellent.
Watching the telly. Yeah,
fantastic.
I haven't missed a game for years.
Good. Obviously,
either live or TV.
Yeah. Obviously, this season, pre-season especially, is a very fruitful one for us because for a long time we haven't had any pre-season games at home, and we've got two against two really good sides in Werder Bremen and Everton. Are you hoping to get over for one of them or both of them?
They're both. One's a Saturday, one's a Wednesday, isn't it? Before the kickoff, before the season kicks
off. The week before, I think, it's Everton, isn't it? On the Saturday.
Yeah, I think my lad is away with the family that week because I had stern words with him about when he comes back, and he said, "Oh, I'm back on the 8th." I said, "Well, that's all right then." So you've got your planning right.
That's all right.
Back in time for the kickoff. Yeah. We'll definitely be back for the first game.
Okay.
We get to a few away games as well. Go to Watford most seasons.
Nice.
Been to 3 or 4 away games. We went to Ipswich last year. We got to Norwich. Anything with an easy reach of the south coast.
Yeah. Okay. Mark,
where you get tickets?
Yeah. Where are you happy with the pre-season this year?
Yeah, I think it's good to play. It's good to play sort of higher level opposition. I think last season we were playing sort of League Two, Forest Green, wasn't it? A couple of other League One, League Two, so Exeter, I think is another one I can just think of.
I went to Shrewsbury for pre-season as well.
MK Dons and Portsmouth. Obviously, Portsmouth are now in the same division as us, but I think it's nice to be playing higher level caliber sides. Everton. Certainly a bottom half Premier League team, but that will be a good test for us. Werder Bremen, a really good side in the Bundesliga, so really good test, and that's what we need. We need to be playing, higher level opposition to get ourselves ready for that first game of the season. So it'd be nice if we could put two strong sides out.
Although I do remember, Mark, I don't know if you were even born then, but we played Espanyol one season. At the Highfield Road before the season kicked off, and that was a big glamour tie, and we lost 7-2.
Well, let's hope the omens aren't quite like that. But
yeah,
I think in 2021 we played Wolves, didn't we, at the CBS, and I think we lost 2-1.
How did we lose?
I think we lost 2-1. I think.
There was also I think there was also another game at the CBS against the Spanish side, Real Sociedad, I think it was, or somebody like that, I think, that we played as well. And I think we lost against that one. Have we played Benfica as well in a pre-season?
Not like I can think of. Not? You know, Ian, would you know that?
I remember with some pain the Espanyol. And I remember Noel Whelan scoring a cracker that day.
Oh, okay. It was very nice.
It was one light.
I was still around at 90, so I'm glad you think I'm still young, Ian. I'm quite happy about that. You're in my Christmas card list officially, so yeah, that's good.
Fantastic.
So what's happening on the transfer front, do you think? I've seen and heard all the rumours. We've got Efron in, of course.
Yeah, we've got Rodriguez in, haven't we?
We might have this.
Looks like we've got that. That's Stamaric. That Stamaric guy. Looks like he's coming in. Everything else is just speculation, isn't it? Until tomorrow when the transfer window's open. I just hope. I hope we can keep Sheaf. I think we will, and I hope we can. But we'll have to wait and see, I think. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, it's been pretty. It's been not much going on there really, transfer wise. I think I'm looking forward to that from Peterborough, Mason
Clark. Yeah,
Efron Mason Clark got there eventually. I think he looks a really exciting player, and I think that will give us a nice bit of competition for places because he sort of plays in Haji Wright's position, that kind of wide left midfield. So it'll be interesting to see. Come first game of the season, if we have a full strength squad, depending on in that position, who does Mark Robins go for? Does he go for Efron Mason Clark or does he go with Haji Wright? So I think that'd be an interesting conundrum there. But I'm sure Robins will look at the form of the players in pre-season to make that decision. But I think that gives us an option on the left hand side because I feel we've lacked a bit of strength and depth attacking wise. Well, there's quite a number of areas. I think we're lacking strength and depth in fairness, but that's one area for sure because. If you look on the other side of the wing, Sakamoto was injured for a large part of last season, and we really struggled without him. I felt we didn't look as good. So
yeah, we missed him badly.
We missed him badly. So I think it's important. That's a good signing. So Rodriguez, I think he's obviously. I don't think he'll be starting for us. I suspect he'll be a bench player. He might play in the 23s. Not seen him play, so it's not really fair for me to comment on what he's. But obviously. Robins and
therein lies my worry for this season, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
If we follow a lot of the fans' hunger to bring in another 4 or 5 signings around the 3 to 5 million mark, especially if Sheaf goes and we get some more money, how are we going to keep all of these players happy? Because I think one of the great strengths of City over the last 5 seasons has been the camaraderie, the spirit, punching above our weight. Players like Jamie Allen playing, out of his skin at times, and Godden popping in with the goals, and we've had players that are not marquee players, not what you would class as best in the division, and they've really come to the fore. And then we had the Gyökeres Hamer couple of years, which I think was adding quality. But if we buy another 4 or 5 players like Stanic, is his name? Stanovic?
Yeah, Stanovic, something like that.
They're going to be expecting to play. They're going to be expecting to play. I think Torp next season will be expecting to play. Players like Latabaudiere, he came here to play. So I think if we buy another 3 or 4 players like Rodriguez, who are hoping to develop, I think we'll have a good balance. But if we spend too much on quality, we're going to have 4 to 5 players on the bench that are going to be really quite frustrated. And will that affect the camaraderie? Will that affect the team spirit? Because you look at Coventry at City Unseen, the behind the scenes video, and they all seem so much fun, happy, in training, they're having a laugh and taking the mickey. It only takes Haji Wright to have 6 weeks on the bench, or and Torp not to be playing, or new player X not to make the team for the first 3 months. I just worry that that's going to fracture the 12th man, which for me is team spirit.
I kind of get what you're saying, but I think it comes with how they're actually playing. So, for instance, I'm gonna say Godden, because Godden at the start of the season, last season, was scoring goals. Sims, when he was given a chance, wasn't taking his chance, and then all of a sudden, goals dry up for Godden. Sims come in, scored a couple of goals, and then he was given a little bit longer. And obviously, whispers were saying that Godden's not happy. And in that sense, you can understand it, because when a striker especially isn't in form and the other guy had scored goals before, I think he's got a right then to knock on the door saying, give me a chance. But then when Sims started scoring and Haji Wright was starting scoring, Godden can knock on the door as much as he likes. But when he was given that chance, he didn't take it. He wasn't scoring for whatever reason, whether the balls weren't falling his way, whether he was scuffing his shots or whatever it was. Sims was scoring. So when you've got especially a striker in form, you can't really argue that you're not getting a chance when that player is scoring goals.
I suppose my point is, Stuart, I don't think we can afford to have 5 Louis Binkses on the bench. Now, Binks was on loan. He's desperate to get back to England, so he had an agenda. And he's never moaned once about only having, what did he have, 10, 12, 15 games?
Yeah.
But if we had Binks signed for us for a fee like Kitching and sat on the bench all season, I can't imagine at his age he'd be happy, which is why I'm hoping that Robbins and AD get a balance between the Rodriguez of this world and the Stanic of this world. The latter, I think, will be expecting to play, and the former, I think, will be pleased to get 15 games in.
I think what I think that would have happened if Binks had signed, I think Binks would have been starting more than Kitchen anyway, if we'd signed them both, because I think Binks is the better player.
I'd go along with that.
So it's... Go on, Mark, sorry.
I think the other thing with signings is personality. You look at Carl McFadzean, that's a player, okay, I think he's right. We had to move him on because he's coming towards the end of his career. But we need leader. We need a leader at the back. I feel the team needs someone who can almost organise the team a bit more. I think Ben Sheaf is a lead in the sense of the way he plays. He sets a good example. He's a good footballer. He starts the attacks, but it's not. I think what we lack is someone like a McFadzean in the back who can just organise the team and be an additional mouthpiece for Mark Robbins and AD, just from a footballing on the field of play. So I think when we're looking at new signs, I think it's not just about the player that we're bringing to the side. It's also about the personality and what he can add to the team, the dressing room as well. And I think that's an important piece of the jigsaw that I feel that we need to kind of address. I feel this summer, because I
couldn't agree more. That's why I was quite pleased to see the rumour about Paddy McNair.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him, Ian. Just about to mention him.
But then I've heard it could be Cobblers, though. In fairness, we're only speculating. I mean, I personally would love him, but the point is that we need players who. And I get what you're saying about if we sign 5, 6 players, it could sort of. But that's the whole. This is where the scouting team comes to place, is identifying not just the talent, but has he got the right personality? Is he the sort of person that can fit into the dressing room and mix well with players? Because you could sign a player who could be a lot of ability, but could be stroppy so and it can cause disharmony in the dressing room. And you don't want that. So I think that's something that I'm sure Dean Austin and the team would have worked on. I'm hoping you'd hope so anyway. So we'll see what happens. But that's what I'd like to see personally.
Yeah, no, totally
You're right.
agree. You know, we don't want another sort of. I think he's learned his lesson from when Bright Eknabar come in, didn't he? And he gave it all the big I am, and he never hit the ground running. You know, so I think he's
And Todd Kane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, I think he's learned his lesson from these players coming in. You would like to think anyway, and it's about having a squad. You know, we knew that last season, especially with the cup run that we had, you know, that we just didn't have enough. And I think I understand what you're saying. You don't necessarily want them sitting on the bench and stuff, but, you know, you've got to rest players and you need quality to come on, you know. And I think having them 5-6 players like Lewis Binks, if you like, being able to come on and finishing the season off as strong, they're only going to make themselves better by getting to the Premier League anyway, you know. So there's that way to look at it as well, a little bit as well. So just before we do... Go on, mate.
Go on. I was just going to say, I
go
think that's going to be the biggest challenge. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge because until last year, we've never had money.
That's right, yeah.
We've never had money to spend, so it was never a question, was it? It was never a question.
No.
You know, Gus, 1 million, never heard of him. Jokeris, 1 million, never heard of him. But now we're getting 4-5 million, even higher with White.
It's mental, isn't it? It's mental to think.
I think it's going to be his biggest challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great
totally
problem,
agree.
but it could be a problem.
Totally agree. Just before we finish off then, Ian, who would you like to see first game of the season? And where do you think we're going to finish?
Derby at home.
Okay.
First game of the season. I think that'd be a cracker. And it's winnable.
Yeah.
You know, I'd hate to see Leeds away. And where are we going to finish? That's a tough one, not having seen who's coming in and what if we have a good, positive transfer market, and Sheaf stays, Callum goes, and a few others go, I think 4th.
Wow, okay. Playoff final?
Yeah.
And again, do we win it?
Yeah, we do. I think we've been knocking on the door. I think we're doing a Brentford, although they took about 6 years, I think, didn't they, to do it rather than our 3 or 4. I think we could do it. The fans are behind them. The buzz is right. The owner's good. Manager's outstanding. If we, with my little nervousness about you know, that squad being uneasy, and I think we could do it. I think we could get top 6 and win it. I think there's a few strong sides again for the top 2 slots. But then again, who thought Ipswich would have done it?
Yeah, exactly.
So anything can happen.
But
I think we're in for another exciting season.
Definitely. Totally agree. Looking forward to it. Cannot wait. So thank you very much for joining us on this first episode of Fans Around the World. Thank you very much, Mark, for organising it and sorting it out. Hopefully we'll have another fan coming on from a different part of the world next time. But obviously we'll get you on in future episodes as well, and Ian, if that's okay.
Towards the end of the season when we're 4th, yeah.
Exactly. 4th when we're 1st. Come on, when we're top.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
All right. Look, play up Sky Blues, both of you.
Play up Sky Blues.
Yeah,
thank you very much,
Blues.
Ian. Bye, mate.
Ta-da. Bye.